History Spotlight, brought to you by HEC Media and the Missouri Historical Society.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jody Sowell, president of the Missouri Historical Society in St. Louis, and this is History Spotlight. The Y.W.C.A. was initially introduced to St. Louis during the 1904 World's Fair, and a year later was incorporated to serve rural women. But women of color were excluded from their services until 1946. Public historian of the African American History Initiative, Cicely Hunter, tells the story of how a group of black women set out to start their own branch in 1911 that operated independently for 35 years.
Though the Y.W.C.A. has a rich national history, African American women in St. Louis operated as a segregated branch for 35 years before merging their efforts with the local Y.W.C.A. in 1946. The Y.W.C.A. was initially introduced to St. Louis during the 1904 World's Fair and a year later was incorporated to serve rural women. But women of color were excluded from their services. In 1911, a group of black women led by Arsenio M. Williams gathered at Berea Presbyterian Church to discuss establishing a home for black women. Arsenio was an educator and a member of the Committee on Administration who led the Colored Women's Christian Association, the president of the National Association of Colored Women, and the vice president of Colored Women's Federation. Soon after setting up their own organization, the women petitioned the local and national Y.W.C.A. and requested an official branch open to serve their community. The white women leadership of the Y.W.C.A. agreed to the request, but demanded that they oversee the branch as an advisory group and control the group's finances and management. The organization opened its doors as the Chapman Branch, named after Louise Chapman, a previous Y.W.C.A. board member. But in 1912, it was renamed the Phillis Wheatley Y.W.C.A. in honor of a formerly enslaved woman who was the first black woman poet to publish in the United States. The St. Louis location served as the fifth branch to open in the nation for black women and girls. It wasn't until 1946 that at the 17th National Convention in St. Louis that the Y.W.C.A. St. Louis and Phillis Wheatley branch would adopt its interracial charter and merge both groups together. A few years later, in 1949, the National Convention of the Y.W.C.A. adopted a renewed commitment to serve and incorporate minority communities into their mission. Today, the Y.W.C.A. Metro St. Louis mission is eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all.
To learn more about the Missouri Historical Society, visit mohistory.org.